Nita Strauss, hanging out here at Guitar World headquarters in New York City. And today I'm going to talk to you about something really fun. A lot of people really just think of me as a lead player, but what you might not know is I love writing riffs. So here are a few of my favorite riffs that I've written. This first riff is from the song The Wolf You Feed off my latest album, The Call of the Void. It features Alisa Whiteglass on the vocals, and this is the main riff of the song. The dive bomb is important. It's an integral part of the song. It sets up that next part. So if you're playing this riff, don't skip the dive bomb. So I really wanted to create a riff that took the listener on a journey, kind of brings you into this heavy song, creates some of these, we're not playing the chords, these inversions, but just like really creates those sort of darker tonal moments that set up the rest of the song. This next riff is the main riff of another song from my new record. The song is called Digital Bullets, featuring Chris Motionless on the vocals, and the riff is played like this. Once again, the dive bomb is part of it. So if you're doing it, don't skip my dive bomb. So fun thing about this riff is really these like sort of chuggy, wide intervals. The mix of palm muting and the big notes, and of course the dive bomb interspersed in there. You get the string skip on that high note, which just really creates this big dynamic range of movement in what is otherwise a pretty like straightforward box pattern riff. So the next riff that I'm going to give you guys is actually kind of a twofer, like a 2-in-1. It is the intro riff and then the verse riff of my song Summer Storm. Summer Storm is an instrumental song, no guest vocalist here, it is just the shred. And so what I did was I took the intro riff and then sort of morphed it into a new evolution of it for the verse. So I'll play the intro first and then the verse so you can see how they evolve together. So what you saw there was the sort of intro main riff leading into the verse version of that riff. The verse one seems a little bit more straightforward, but it actually sort of turns around. You see it like sort of come in on the upbeat rather than the downbeat second time around. So it creates that same sort of tension feel in the riff, but still gives me a nice bed to solo over. One thing that I really like to do when I'm writing is not only to use those alternate pickings in the riff, but to alternate that type of riff with these big chords. Very like symphonic versions of these chords rather than your typical root fifth octave. Just give it those like bigger chamber music type of voicings of the chords. And then with the picking hand, you have these sort of alternating between these little 30-second note gallops. Little right hand workout there, and then you get the little break with the chords. One of my favorite songs on my latest record is titled Kintsugi, and it is a very uncharacteristic song for me. There's no drums, there's no big programming. It's very stripped down, just guitar and piano. And the word kintsugi is the Japanese art of mending something that has been broken, putting it back together using precious metal like gold. And the idea behind it is that once something is broken, it can become more valuable by being repaired and put back together. And I feel like we're all a little bit like that in life. So that was the concept of this song. The riff is something that is very sort of out of character for me, something very different to what I usually write. And I'm going to play it for you right now. So something that I did very differently to what I normally do here is I really am hardly picking anything in this riff. I'm picking a few notes here and there, but the majority of it is just those hammer-on and pull-offs. Very inspired by my Ibanez sister, Yvette Young, and the way that she approaches her songwriting and her chords. I was watching her do her stuff, and I was like, I would love to do something like that. And so took some inspiration from Yvette to craft that little riff. So the main thing with the articulation in this riff is really just making sure that your fingers are like right in the center of the fret where they need to be for the hammer-ons, for the pull-offs. And then when you're doing the pull-off, really just hit that very gentle pull-off so you're not going, wah. You're not really doing that sort of shreddy type of pull-off. It's very gentle. It's a gentle tap. Like so. So those are some of my favorite riffs that I've written that I'm very, very proud of. I hope you guys like playing them as much as I do. They are very, very fun to play. So if you learn them, have fun with them. I'm Nita Strauss. You can find out what I'm up to at nitastrauss.com or on socials at Hurricane Nita. See you next time.